I want to talk to you guys today about the unbelievable power of perpetuation. I don't hear anyone really talking about this, which shocks me. Like, this is one of the biggest things that I've probably ever learned in my entire life is the power of perpetuation. I'm so happy to share it with you guys because I feel like some of you guys are going to take so much value from this only if you consciously remember this and implement this into your life. So I'm going to talk about it here in a second, but I'm just so shocked because I follow a lot of YouTubers and I don't really see anybody really talking about this. And the first time I kind of read this was in a book called How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. Powerful, powerful book. Strongly recommend a read from that. And they don't mention it as perpetuation, but they give a couple of examples of it. And I want to talk strictly about this topic here today and how much it can really improve your interactions with people. And so first let's talk about perpetuation. What is perpetuation? It's like, for example, the perpetuation I'm talking about here is, let's say somebody asks me a question about how do you like, they say, hey Jack, okay, what do you do for a living? And I answer like this, okay? I answer like this. Oh, well, I play poker for a living. So what that's doing right there is perpetuating a certain emotion to that person that I just answered to. So for example, if I answer like that, I'm going to give you a few examples of this. This is going to be really interesting for those of you who stick around for this video. Really, really interesting one here. So when he asked me that question, and I answer that way, I said, I play poker for a living, actually, like that. He's going to probably respond with, oh, but can you make money doing that? That just sounds, I don't know, that sounds weird, right? Because he's responding with the same emotion and the energy that I responded with. So for example, I was basically unsure of myself, of my profession, insecure in that response. You can feel it in the emotion, right? So let's say now, for example, he asked me, somebody else asked me, hey Jack, what do you do for a living? Oh, I play poker for a living. I absolutely love it. And then from there, he's like, oh wow, that's fucking awesome. That is incredible, man. Like, that's so cool. Like, how does that work? You see what just happened there? I'm going to give you a couple more examples so we really get to the bottom of this. So some people think that people are always negatively responding to them. They're always getting negative responses. And the main reason why you're getting negative responses is because you're perpetuating that energy. You're being a negative, low energy person. That's why you're getting the negative responses. So let me give you another example. Let's talk about, okay, let's say somebody says, ask you again, let's stay on the same topic. They say, hey Jack, what do you do for a living? And me, I'm working at McDonald's now, actually. Like, oh, they're like, oh God, how the fuck are you working at McDonald's? Like, what the hell? You know, they're just like, kind of like, damn, that sucks, man. You need to get the hell out of there. You see that negative response? It's because I presented it in a negative way. Some of you guys are thinking like, how the fuck can you present working McDonald's in a positive way? So let's talk about that. So someone else asked me, I say, hey Jack, what do you do for a living? And I respond with, I'm working at McDonald's right now. It's super temporary, but I'm super thrilled with it because it helps me like pay the bills and things like that. And they're like, wow, that's so cool that you have such a positive outlook on that, right? Because like they're perpetuating the energy. What I feel about working at McDonald's is what the person next to me is very likely to feel about, is very likely to respond with, okay? That's a very exaggerated version. It's hard to turn something like that into a positive, but I did that on purpose because it's a very exaggerated version of it. But if somebody actually told you, Think about yourself. If you ask someone where do they work and they gave you like a super enthusiastic answer of like, they love it. They're like, I work at McDonald's and I'm fucking like so happy with it because it gives me the money to pay for my college. And then you're looking at this person, you're like, wow, that is fucking amazing, man. Like, congrats. Like great. Keep on rolling with it, man, if you're happy with it, right? But then if you give them like this bullshit response about how much you like your energy says it all. Like, you don't have to say that you hate McDonald's. You can just answer like, oh yeah, like I'm working at McDonald's now, but it's just temporary. And they're like, oh damn, like that sucks, man. You should find a different job. Right? So you're perpetuating their response. Okay? So I want you to think about that for a second and how many things that can relate to you. Like when you meet people, when you first meet people, like how are you doing it? So in the example in the book, it talks mostly about human to human interaction. So when you meet somebody and you're just kind of like really low energy and kind of like unsure if this person likes you, if you're insecure about yourself or whatever else it is, you're going to come off in that way. You're going to say like, for example, you'll get to this person, you'll say, hey, like, nice to meet you. And they're already taken back by that. And then you think like, oh, this person doesn't like me. Well, that person doesn't like you is because you don't like yourself. Okay, that's the biggest thing to take away from this. What you believe about yourself in that scenario, or what you believe about your work in the other scenario, is what energy is perpetuating onto the person you're communicating with or connecting with. So in that specific example of when you're approaching somebody in that sense where you're just not sure if they're gonna like you, you're just like unsure if you even belong there, you're not confident in yourself, and you're just kind of like, yeah, how's it, how's everything going? And there's like, oh, everything's going fine, I guess, yeah. And they're continuing the same energy that you just bought onto them, okay? In another example, you give someone a firm handshake and you give them a smile too, maybe, like, hey, how's it going, man? And they're like, oh, everything's great, how's it going with you? Right? So you can connect on that higher level and you get more positive responses that way. Imagine it yourself. You know it yourself. You would respond the same way. If some guy just came up to you and was just like super, like his shoulders were down and he was like super like, hey man, how was your day? And you're just like, my day was fine, I guess, man. I don't know, keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like you and then that original person that came up like that is usually the kind of person like, nobody likes me. Nobody likes me. Nobody talks to me, you see? Like, and then they prove it to themselves. It's like this self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever. And they keep self-pitying themselves to the point where like, oh, nobody likes me. Nobody, respects me. It's because you don't like and respect yourself. That's the most of it. Okay? So there's so many different ways to kind of use the power of perpetuation. First, you have to dig deep inside yourself because that's where it all lies in. Like you have to unmask and get rid of all the limiting beliefs that you have inside yourself about people don't like you or you're not enough for whatever reason. You have to get rid of all the bullshit that people might have instilled into you when you were younger, or all the bullshit that you might believe about yourself up until this day for no actual reason. And that's the thing, is like if you believe you're unlikable and you're different and you're not sociable, guess what's gonna happen? Guess what's gonna happen if you have those kind of strong beliefs about yourself? You're gonna be the first guys in that example where you perpetuate that energy into your life, and then everyone is going to mirror that around you, and then you're going to convince yourself that you were right the whole time. Oh, you see, nobody likes me. You see? And you're just going to kind of live in that self-pity bullshit that you've kind of created for your own life. So You want to steer far away from that and challenge those negative beliefs you have about yourself. This is something I learned a few years ago. Whenever you say to yourself, I am blank, always, no matter what, whether you even strongly believe it true or not, when you say those sentences about yourself, I am, after the am, you have to say something positive and empowering about yourself. Never something that's either negative or disempowering in any way, shape, or form. Anything. So if you say to yourself like, I am different, don't ever say something like that about yourself, because you're going to start to believe it. Your subconscious is always listening. I have a book review coming up just about this, your subconscious mind, and how powerful that is, and how it can really change the way you feel about yourself and your interaction with others, the way you communicate, the way you socialize, all those things. So your subconscious is always listening, even if you're thinking about it in yourself, in your head. I am different, or I am lazy, or I am not a hard worker, or any of the fucking bullshit that you might believe. Don't ever tell yourself that I am with anything that's negative or something that's not going to move you forward in life at the end of that sentence. Always use empowering things, okay? Always things that will help you move forward in life. And you need to be, in order to do this, because a lot of times we talk to ourselves without even realizing that we're actually doing it. So you need to be more mindful and self-aware of what kind of things do you believe about yourself, because that's what's going to drive everything. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the profession that you're in? You need to cultivate the love for those things before you do anything. You need to love yourself so much that you know for a fact that when you approach somebody, that not only that they love you, you're going to love them, they're going to love you, and it's going to be fucking amazing. And the approach that you have to someone from that angle is going to be so much more powerful. I read this thing in a book too. He says, everyone you approach or everyone you talk to on a daily basis, think in your mind, I love you. Think about that. I don't care if it's a guy or a girl. Think in your mind, before you approach someone, think about, I love this person. And then approach from there. Okay? Think about that. So approach always with love. And realize that people are going to love you a lot more if you love yourself, because you're going to perpetuate that energy onto them, and you're going to see what a difference that's going to make in your entire life. And even some people, they're just like, Jack, like, I don't need this. Like, I love myself and this and that. Trust me, everyone has some sort of limiting beliefs or disempowering beliefs that they can switch out for empowering ones. So anything you say to yourself negative, I want you to write it down on a daily basis. This is something that you have to kind of like pay attention to about yourself. It's not, some of these things might come up to mind immediately where you're just like, oh yeah, like I talk like this to myself all the time, and like I label myself with all this bullshit that's not true, that it's just like a whole load of crap that I'm kind of making up in my mind. So you need to kind of be self-aware, and like some of these things might just come to mind. Like after watching this video, you'll be a little bit more aware automatically. That's the great part about this. You'll be a little bit more aware automatically, where you're just like, maybe like you'll just be going on with your day today, and you're like, and then you'll just say something negative about yourself, and you're like, oh, wait. Let me switch that to a positive. So the brain needs to be trained. You need to train your own brain to see the positives, to notice the positives, to get rid of all the limiting shit that you believe about yourself and replace it with empowering shit. Let me know if any of you guys have anything specific in mind that you had as a limiting belief before you watch this video, and maybe that you can start to challenge at this point, or let me know what you got from this perpetuation video, because I feel this is so strong. Like I feel so fucking strong about this video here, and how much of a positive impact it can have on anyone's life. So I'd love to hear from you guys, and I'm answering every single comment.